Warning. The following video contains spoilers for the inner workings and behind-the-scenes processes of the Project 863 series. If you do not wish to be spoiled on future or past videos, nor have the spell of the series broken, you have been warned. Hello everybody, welcome to another Behind 863 podcast. I think this is episode 13.
Wow.
I did get it in order.
Yeah,
I'm
sure?
pretty positive this is 13.
Lucky number 13.
Lucky
Yeah,
number
very
13.
lucky.
Or unlucky number. We'll find out.
Yeah, today we have some updates. We have some fun things. Let me make sure it's 13. I put it in calendar properly this time.
Second guessing yourself.
It is 13.
I thought you were
Fantastic
cracking your
job.
knuckles. That sounded very... Oh.
Wish you cracked me like you cracked those knuckles, Woods.
Oh, that was a good one.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for that kind little gesture you just gave me. Oh, another one with the nose. Okay.
I don't know what that means.
Down, Woods.
We got some updates. So we're going to go over some updates. Then we're going to go over some stuff that happened in the last video. And then we're going to go over...
Our thoughts and feelings.
I have some comments that we can read from the last video as well.
Ew.
Oh.
Like the one that came out yesterday?
Yeah.
That's exciting.
A
Yeah.
little fun.
Can't wait.
So it'll be a little dated for you guys when you're seeing this, but it'll be an exciting thing to hear about. That's for sure. So let's talk about updates.
Okay.
Updates. We had a COVID situation happen at the
Sure.
studio.
yeah.
Barely.
I think that would be
Yeah,
barely.
Yeah, I said that pretty dramatically, but we had a
We
COVID
had a
scare.
COVID.
We
Oh, did I just
thought we had a
undermine your
COVID
title?
situation.
Yeah.
No, that's a great idea. Maybe I just do that like instinctively.
COVID scare.
And make things way bigger than they are.
Yeah.
Just by
No.
nature.
I think that's a better way of putting it. We thought we had a COVID scare. I mean, I think we followed all the correct precautions and everything. But
Yeah.
We figured out like 40 minutes after the scare that it wasn't a COVID thing, but we triple checked. So,
Yeah.
Oh, really? Actually? I didn't know
yeah.
that.
He
So,
took that
well, Matt
rapid
texted
test.
me. I thought he posted in the chat too.
yeah. Sorry.
No, you can keep
Yeah.
going. Yeah, you're doing a good job.
So Matt found out the morning before shoot day that he had the day before come in contact with someone who had just tested positive for COVID. So what he did was he alerted the studio, which was the proper thing to do. No one who was in the studio with Matt the day before, was allowed to come in, which was basically everyone. So it was basically like, hey, no one go into the studio today. Matt's going to get tested today. He took a rapid test, but the general which was negative, but the general consensus is like sometimes it can take symptoms or, COVID a little bit longer to show up on a test. Like I think the general consensus is like sometimes it can be like 2 to 7 days or something.
I've heard even 2 weeks sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It can take a long time.
Yeah. So what we did was we, decided to not shoot last week. And that's why there's not going to be an upload next week for us now. For you guys, I think you're probably good by the time you see this.
Yeah,
Who knows?
No, they're very good. It just added a
They're very
slight
good.
kerfuffle with
Hate
kerfuffle.
those.
You ever heard someone seriously use the word kerfuffle?
No,
Yes,
but
just
I
1
like
second
it.
ago.
In
Yeah.
my life. So it added like a slight kerfuffle in terms of like I have to release any content I shoot that is about a subject after that subject's released.
Yeah.
So we're kind of like always 2 weeks in advance, but what that kind of like kills us is that if Project 863 doesn't upload for a week, that gives me a week of footage I have to push. Well, 2 weeks
Yeah.
of footage I have to push back,
Yeah.
So it made it kind of difficult. Luckily, I talked to Sam, so we have stuff figured out. You said yes to doing that shoot tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow morning.
Wood
What's
says yes to a
tomorrow?
lot of
Yeah.
things.
So it's just like a video reaction, but you're gonna do it with Sam, like a
Yeah,
little duo
sure.
reaction. It's like 9 a.m.
Cute.
though. So it should be before your guys' shoot.
How sweet.
But that'll be fun. So we're gonna have like a little duo
Yeah.
video reaction happening, and
It'll be fun.
just so you guys know, I'm shooting those as well because they had a good reception from season 1 on YouTube. Like everyone really loved Sam doing it, loved Woods's.
Nice.
And so I was like, you know what, we should keep doing those, but I want to mainly do vlogs and then have those sprinkled in whenever there's something time sensitive that gets killed.
Yeah.
Like we just can't upload anything. We'll sprinkle that in, maybe some live streams and stuff. But also I'm thinking in the future, and you guys can let me know as well, because this is just more content, of doing like a vlog a week, a reaction a week, and then a podcast a week. So that'd be like 3 things. So it'd be getting like just boom, let's just 33% more content.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So,
So
but anyways, back to COVID.
Yeah. So we decided it would be best if Matt, like, just to be sure that we didn't have like more of a COVID outbreak or something, that it would be best if Matt also got tested like a few days later. So all this happened on like a Wednesday, and then Matt got tested again on a Tuesday. Yesterday? Yeah, today's Wednesday. Yesterday, and it's negative. So we feel like we're pretty much in the clear. So we will resume production this week. But yeah, just wanted to make sure we were keeping everyone safe and healthy. So, it was the best thing to do is just to not film last week.
And it came fast. I want to express that too. Like, it was the day before, but I left Matt's house at like 8 a.m. that morning. And then I got a text from Matt at 8:30.
Yeah.
So like and I had already talked to him in the morning. He figured out within the 30 minutes I wasn't at his house. He's like, he got a call, I'm guessing, or something.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, snap. So then we had to pivot everything. I went from going to the studio and what?
We ran into each other.
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait, where?
Yeah.
So I ended up having to randomly, Matt was like, hey, you can't go to the studio. And I was like, all right, I'm going home, I guess. So I literally have to go and get
back
gas.
to Vegas.
Yeah, literally out of nowhere, which was, I'm not mad about it. It's nice to drive in the mornings.
no.
But
Was that the next day after you had come? Or?
No, it was like the same morning.
It was the same
well,
morning?
the day after.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I was like,
Day
no.
after he had
Same
come
morning
out
we
here.
found out.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But then, I'm going to get gas, and then I'm like pumping gas, kind of just like, oh, I'm about to do a 4-hour drive I wasn't ready for. And then Sam, all of a sudden I hear is, hey, are you Tanner from Dope or Nope? And I'm like, gas? And I looked around, and then I just like see Sam. She's like, hey. And I was like, wow, you look way happy for having driven all the way over here for nothing. And she's like, yeah. Well, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So I had left for work already, and I saw the message from Matt like as I was like pulling into the studio, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And obviously it's fine. Like Matt let all of us know as soon as he knew, so nothing he could have done about it.
He did it as best he could.
Yeah, exactly. He did everything right. So I was like, all right, well, and I was also like a little hungover this morning, and it took a lot for me to like get out of bed. So I was like, okay, I got here on time and whatever. So I drove back. I was like, let me drive 30 minutes back home. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to treat myself to McDonald's. So I get McDonald's. And as soon as I come out of the drive through, I see Tanner at his car. And I'm just like,
What are the odds?
is that Tanner from Dope or Nope? And Tanner said it was the funniest thing. He was like, I bet that's like the longest drive for McDonald's you ever done. And I was like, yeah, I was.
I was ready to go. I was
drove
ready for work.
An hour,
Yeah.
for, like there and back just for McDonald's.
Oh, yeah, no.
'Cause it's 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back.
I was the only one in the studio when I got this message, so I was just like, oh, man,
Time to go home.
that doesn't feel good.
And it's just like we got lucky with how easy our situation was. Like it took us like a couple days, but it still even throws a wrench. And that's what's difficult is like I didn't get to go in and upload the footage that was remaining from Dope or Nope the previous night before. So so some of the footage we shot for that week, I literally didn't get to use it all.
I think it's kind of funny too, because like, there's like 10 people here, and maybe all of them were here with Matt,
The day before.
and so like
Filming, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm almost like, when I got the message, I was like, well, we're all together. I did not want to stay home that day at all.
Yeah.
It's like let's just like lean into it.
I do have to say, though, it's like the biggest scare that we've had, I think, since I've been here, that someone has actually like
No,
we had
confirmed.
one-
Really?
No, we had
Big
one that
one.
was a big one.
Oh.
You were
When
here
was
for
that?
it too.
It
Really?
was, I won't say the name, but yeah.
Oh, yes.
someone,
Never mind.
like-
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but we all tested negative
Negative,
for
yeah.
that as
Yeah.
well.
We've
that was
gotten
a
pretty
closer
lucky.
call, 'cause
No,
that was
we,
right
we've
there.
we've done really well, especially considering like we don't wear masks when we're when we're like not filming and everything because like we're on
Performing.
camera and like. And now, especially that it's a smaller group, it's like, I feel like we've just done a really good job of
Kind
being
of like Survivor,
safe.
honestly.
Yeah. The strongest survives. True.
COVID survivors.
Yeah, I mean, we're all young and healthy, and I think
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah, man, you
You didn't have to say the last part, but that
I
really
will
means a lot.
say
You say
you're
that about
healthy,
me.
yeah.
Especially after the lunch I had.
well,
I
we're
feel
all
like I
young and
deserve
healthy,
that.
and we hang out with each other all the time. So, yeah, we probably could have been in. I would say like worse situations, but yeah, we've gotten pretty lucky.
Yeah, we've done pretty well.
Yeah.
And I also think something like that I really respect too is like we all understand that like it's okay to be like, hey guys, I'm like questionably not feeling well, so I'm just gonna stay home and like maybe go get a test.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like there's been any sort of weird like I'm just not gonna tell anybody and I'm just gonna secretly
Right.
keep coming. Like that might be happening in bigger corporations or like bigger workplaces because it's like
Very
we are a
fearful.
small group, and so it's one of those things where it's like you're not feeling well.
In
Bye.
bigger
Yeah.
workplaces, like obviously it's the wrong thing to do, but like it kind of like those people are probably thinking like, I get a free 2 weeks off if I get a cough. You know what I'm saying? Like here, like you don't get to do that. It's like, well, then you just don't make money and you don't get paid. So it's like, I'm like, I don't get to just take 2 weeks off.
We
have
have,
what?
we have PTO.
Yeah, we
dude.
do have
We have
PTO.
unlimited PTO. You
Oh,
still
well.
get paid.
I mean,
Well,
well,
don't work. We just don't upload the
meaning-
for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know that one.
yeah,
You don't work, the studio doesn't get paid.
Yeah.
true. Yeah, that's
Thanks, Tanner.
Thanks, Tanner.
No, it's not just me. I don't want that burden in that.
No,
respect.
You
no.
have the burden now. So.
No, but all of that to just say, I feel like we also just have a very like considerate group of people.
Yeah. No,
Like-
one morning I came in, I took a bite of my sandwich and I couldn't taste it. So I was like, I'm going to leave.
what kind of sandwich?
It was from
Just the dullest sandwich ever. She's like, actually, it was
Bologna?
just bread.
it was from
Yeah.
Havana Savannah. It was one of those like
Oh,
paninis.
those are pretty tasteful.
Yeah, that's why I was like, there's something wrong here.
That's a
it turned out
great
fine.
use of that word.
But
But
I-
yeah,
I
you
was
went
concerned.
home, you got tested, and it turned out
Turns out
fine.
it was just your
Just a
head.
bad
It was in your head.
yeah, it's
I
just a
don't know.
weird day for Bailey. But
Just,
It's like that's like the
Little
new calling
disconnected.
out sick now is like, I don't taste anything.
Yeah,
It's like,
kinda
Sorry, boss,
leave.
can't taste.
yeah,
Can't taste.
Can't taste
well,
anything.
that's the thing is like this past weekend, I got tested, even though like Matt said, don't get tested unless I test positive. I
Well,
got
we
tested
had a
because we
wedding
had a
to go
wedding to go
to.
to. Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to get tested.
Whose
and
wedding? Who got
Chanel.
married?
Chanel.
Oh yeah,
Dude, I got the cleanest footage of her and her wife dancing.
Oh,
I love to see that footage.
Yeah.
yeah. But so I went to the
Drop 'em in Slack.
doctor and I was like, and the woman was like, yeah, because I told her that I kind of had a
You
cough.
went to the
but
doctor?
I did. Well, they said that they had a that day test, so I was like, I'm gonna
Oh,
do that,
yeah,
and
yeah.
my insurance covered it, so I decided to go. And so they were like, yeah, you're probably fine. If this was happening during normal times, you wouldn't have come to the doctor. You only
Yeah.
came because it's COVID. And I was
Yeah.
like, that's very
Yeah.
true. Yeah, and that's so. Yeah, I think, well, especially because I'm vaccinated, so like people, they say that like you have a much lesser chance of getting sick, and so like even if you come in contact, like you're probably okay, and that's what she said to me. So I was like,
Like,
nice.
I'll
Okay.
take that.
Yeah.
I will
Yeah,
take that along with
nice.
it. But yeah, so I think, we did everything right. It did delay production, of course,
Yes.
which for a second for me, I was stressed about because there are.
You said that very stressed
I
out.
was stressed
I
about,
was
but it all
stressed.
worked out. This surprisingly update for you guys. This is the first week that I'm not for this week, but for next week that I'm actually a bit in the loop on because I have to be as my role as production manager. There are some
whole thing?
things. No, not well, kind of at this point, yeah. But I still don't know what's happening this week, Bailey. So we're still in this week together.
Secrets don't make friends, Sam.
I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make content. So I'm sorry. I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
Dang.
Yeah, okay.
No, but it was one of those instances where both Matt and Chanel like hit me up and they were like, okay, so for your role as production manager, like we do need to break this for a second. But so having the shoot, like last week's shoot moved to this week and the shoot that was supposed to happen this week moved to next week.
Mhm.
Like I was kind of like, that's a lot of moving parts there, but it all worked out. Everything maintained
So far.
consistent.
So far.
Why did you have to say that, Tanner?
So,
Come on, man.
For the sake of just
Come on,
being
man.
honest.
I
Yeah.
thought
We
you
haven't
knew
shot yet.
something.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, it is.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Take one.
but yeah. So I think the way the thing that I'm nervous about, and I mean I've already posted about it on Spellbound and on YouTube, is like yesterday, the audience got a story video. Woo! No more recaps. Woo! And
I just love like saying, woo! And then Bailey just kind of like, woo!
yeah.
She's like, I'm helping. I'm not leaving you hanging.
Well, but I would quick PSA. I am wearing my leather pants again, so if you hear,
Sam's farting.
it's my pants.
Yeah, and it also smells in here too.
Yeah, so don't worry about
But
that.
not related.
That's not related.
But so the audience, obviously you guys were getting like 3 recaps and then they got a story video. But because of this kind of COVID scare, we couldn't film last week, so there's right now for us there's not going to be an upload next week because we don't have a video we don't want to crunch our pipeline or anything. So uploads will resume the 23rd.
And on that note too, that's something else I wanted to talk about. Clearly something went right with the last video. Maybe YouTube, some dude at YouTube just really liked the video.
Yeah.
Video went number 10 on trending with like 200,000 views, which is
Tell you, man,
fascinating,
it's
man.
the floorboards.
It's the
floorboards.
floorboards.
People
Yes.
are just genuinely curious about what's under. Doesn't matter
Floorboards.
whose floorboards.
I also
True.
just any floorboards.
And I think Mike
Yeah.
Badal's hint, so we talked about that a little bit, but Mike Badal giving away the hint that it was like, or coming up with the hint of like the whole Edgar Allan Poe thing, that really worked towards a general audience. Like,
Oh, yeah.
everyone's talking about that
Yeah.
still, you know? So that's
Right.
clearly like something to think about because I think that kind
real.
of had like a good real world tie, really re-grounded it.
We
Yeah.
talked
that
about
episode.
this last time and how like implementing like the outer world, or I guess the real world,
real world.
into
The story,
into
yeah.
our story. Yeah, it like gives a point of reference or relatability to some sort of aspect. I'm
Yeah.
not sure what, but yeah.
Well, you know what's really weird too? I was looking through the comments and a lot of people were saying, like, I mean, I don't know if this was just coincidental, but a lot of people were like, I read this today in
Yes.
class. And I'm like, what are the odds? Like, I think you guys actually lined it up with
Like
the curriculum.
English curriculum. No,
don't
I
know
saw
how
that
that
too. I've
happened.
seen multiple comments of people saying like, and they don't feel like regular viewers. Like people saying like, oh my gosh, I just read Telltale Heart in like my English class last month. Like this is so
Yeah.
cool. Like I
Yeah.
thought, and like people were giving advice based on the Edgar Allan Poe story.
Yeah, everyone's like, I would watch out.
Yeah, I was like, this is gonna be crazy. I don't know what's going on in your
Yeah.
studio, but like, I read this, this week, and like, that's just maybe
That's
it's
pretty
coincidental.
interesting.
It's
I
still
don't
on
know
the
how it worked
trending
out that way.
page.
Oh, is it really?
It fell down a little bit, but it's still on trending, and it has like 208,000 views.
Interesting.
I wonder
Like-
if that's like the spark of getting that new audience again. That's like, this could be real because
Yeah,
that
like,
kind of
what
has
is
that
this?
has
Yeah.
that same like, oh, like that's very like serial killer-ish. You know
well,
what I'm
something
saying?
about this season too is because it has nothing to do with Project 863 traditionally.
Yeah.
Like it is bringing. I mean, it makes
bringing
it a
new
lot
people.
more. Yeah, exactly. Because like this really doesn't have anything to do with the story at all as of right now.
It's just
Yeah.
spooky.
yeah. So
Yeah,
people
it's
are
just
really
crazy
into it.
paranormal stuff.
And I love that. So yeah, YouTube liked that to some extent, I would say, where maybe there was something right about that. I don't know how YouTube, like we've never found out how YouTube chooses trending.
No.
We all we know is that it doesn't matter, like for the performance of a video. If you guys are curious, quick rundown. I'm gonna put up my little hands, and it's gonna make a lot of sense with what I choose my hands to do. Okay?
Okay.
Can you see in the
Oh, we can only see one of your hands.
where does the
The
camera go?
move towards me.
Okay.
Move towards
So
me. Yeah, there you are.
two things mainly determine how a video does. All right, you have just overall watch time, like duration, right? Which if that's long, YouTube likes it more because people are staying on your website more. They push them more ads, they make more money, right? That's a whole other thing. The other half is what's called click-through rate, right?
Yeah.
Which is impressions, right? Verse, pretty much it's how many people click on a video when it's shown to them. That's all you need to know about that, right? So you would think, wow, your video is being shown to a lot more people. YouTube's forcing it, meaning you're going to get a lot more clicks. You will get more clicks, but it doesn't really count towards its suggestion, right? So those are kind of like just like brownie impressions. You'll get like a few thousand more views or something like that. But it's not going to be like, wow, this is going to blow your video up.
Yeah,
it's never
right.
done that. Maybe like old YouTube did that. Maybe that's why people cared more, but from the history of like having Dope or Nope show up on it all the time, Battle Universe showed up on it all the time.
I was on the trending page once.
Really?
I was picked as their like creator
Creator
on
of-
the rise.
Yeah.
When
Wow.
I only had like 10 videos on my YouTube channel and like just started vlogging
remember that.
as I was talent on Battle Universe, and I was like, I don't know what to do with this. What does this mean? But it didn't do anything for me.
How
like if
interesting,
anything,
yeah.
like
No, it just makes
got
them
a
look good.
couple of more views, but like I didn't like boom in subscribers. I didn't boom in views. I didn't like anything. But it is interesting. Like our CTR for that video is still 14%. Like this morning, or actually yesterday, it was 20% CTR, and I was like, "That's a good thumbnail, Matt. Good job." And then like
it is a good
I
thing.
have to see, because I don't know what your guys' normal CTR
our normal
is.
CTR is like
Like in
I
24
compared.
hours? Because that's where I was always curious too, is that like you guys have a high CTR because you guys actually have lower impressions, but you guys have a more dedicated fan base. Like
Yeah.
Dope or Nope will generally have like a lower CTR, but we have way more impressions, so it gets pushed out a lot more. So it kind of gets like tested more, I would say.
I
Interesting.
like. I mean, I guess. Well, It's like 7%.
Anyway, that's how it works.
Anyways,
And so that's like
analytics.
that's like the tea. That's the good tea. Something, and I agree. I was laughing. I was talking to Woods about it. I was laughing at the thumbnail, and I see why Matt did it this way because it kind of had to be this way, or else you wouldn't really be able to tell it. Things could be under it.
floorboards?
Yeah,
The
yeah, it's
floorboards
like
are
super
dummy
thick.
thick.
Yeah,
They're
they are.
dumb thick.
I was
I
like,
saw
"Dang."
The
that.
soil underneath.
These are-
That's like 3 C's.
These are
It does
floor
look good, though.
logs, my guy.
Straight up logs,
And then he's
dude.
holding like an actual floorboard. So he's holding like a thin one, and the rest are thick. And I was
Thick
like,
boys.
I just
Could
thought it
be
was
the
funny. It
foundation.
totally makes sense why he did it. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like shows like, oh, a
shows
body
the
could be
depth
down
and
here.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
otherwise you just be like,
Outline
wow.
on the dirt too.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like, oh man, I get it. I see it. It immediately transfers the message that he's trying to.
And like obviously it
convey.
worked well as a thumbnail.
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like it's just funny seeing these chunky. I was like, why does this look so uncomfy to me? Like, why are these big logs right there freaking me out a
Yeah.
little bit?
Yeah.
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 But yeah, that did that trick.
That did well.
That did very well. Now I wanted to read some comments to you guys.
Yeah,
as
go
well.
for it,
If you
Tanner.
guys don't mind, I'm trying to remember. Did I have anything else I wanted to bring up? We brought up COVID.
Videos resume.
Videos.
Released on the 23rd.
Talked about going on trending. There's probably one other thing, but worst comes to worst, we'll talk about
You
it later.
said
Did I mention?
at lunch. You said comments.
Yeah, we're about to do that.
Did I? Yeah. Did I
Well,
say it
you,
like
you
that?
said. There was another C thing you said.
Comments.
Oh yeah, you said COVID comments
Catastrophes.
catastrophe.
I don't know. We'll go to
don't know.
comments. I have a couple
Yeah,
comments
sure.
I want us to read. So I think these will be pretty good. Some referring to the last video. I found these on the last video as well, in case you guys are curious. So I found this is just a little general one
Okay.
that actually we talked about one. Let's talk about the one that we kind of generally touched on, which was that people are commenting a lot about Telltale Heart. They're like, I just read this. That was a really cool comment.
Yeah.
Sorry, we'll just tiptoe right past that since we already addressed it.
Addressed.
Who
That's
said
so weird.
this line? I'm curious if you guys know
Okay.
who said it in the
Oh,
video.
I like that.
Also,
I like this.
Fun.
This should be a bit.
Yeah.
Dude, do this
Who
every
said
week.
that?
good call. Someone write that down.
Someone.
We got read your comments.
Can you
Maybe we'll
guys
do
write
who
that
said
down
this
for
line.
us?
Yeah.
I love how it's just happening. You know, it's like just being revealed to me what this podcast is going to be. You know.
Oh, I thought
like
that
it.
was the line. I'm confused. Okay.
I didn't mean to. Sorry, I meant for this to happen.
line?
Sorry. The line begins now. That's what good liars do. They tell convincing
Matt.
stories.
That's
Matt.
Matt. Yeah.
Matt said that, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was such a good quote. Sorry,
is a
this
good
wasn't
quote.
really meant to be the game of like who's going to think about
Yeah,
it.
I
But
thought
I'm
that was
glad
gonna be a challenge.
it will be that next time. I'll make
Okay,
it more
cool.
challenging. But I really did think that was a really interesting quote. And I knew it was Matt when it was written because I'm like, that's something Matt would say, but it's also just hits. Like that's what good liars
He's
do.
talking about Deb because
Yeah.
we were sitting there talking about like, oh, but like, you know, why are the fans still defending Deb? Like, why do the fans still believe in Deb? And
Yeah, because
How
I
was
said
Good
like
Liars
she has
do?
a very convincing story, and then he was like, well, that's what they do.
Yeah,
were you gonna
I
say?
would add upon that. Good liars know how to use emotion in their stories.
Yeah, like manipulators. Yeah.
yeah.
I just thought that was, I think that's such an interesting, it's like seems pretty surface level, but I really look at that and I'm like fascinated because it makes you think like you don't really, if someone's good at lying, you'll never know you're being lied to.
That's
Yeah.
concerning.
Scary.
And I thought that was such a well worded, like kind of like brings the tension, brings the unease into it as like, ooh, like you never really know. And if they're really good and then you do know, it's because
Wow.
they want you to know.
How do
And
you
that's
trust
even
anyone ever?
spookier.
You don't.
No, you
Never
don't.
trust.
I just don't
Yeah.
trust anyone's that good of a liar.
Just thinks you're all inadequate. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think you're all bad
all
liars.
Everyone's lied to Woods. He's like, these guys are terrible. Or else I would have seen it by now. Everyone lies to you.
Listen to my own truth.
It's that easy. Another quote that I wanted to bring up that I thought was a pretty good one.
Should we guess who said it too?
Yeah.
I like the game.
Me too.
I can find more while you guys
Games
talk
are
about this
fun.
topic because I
I
think
feel
that'd
like
be
we
fun.
have like
Sure.
each quote. I mean,
This
I was
is more
gonna
of like,
say like, go ahead.
sorry, this is more of an audience comment.
Oh, okay.
Warning, spoilers below. Luckily, this is behind 863.
Oh, that sounded like I was gonna say that sounded like the intro. To
That sounded like the intro.
Oh, yeah, 'cause
Warning.
my voice does that.
Oh my God, are you Tanner?
From the intro of Behind It.
intro?
Imagine if I
Don't
ever got
know.
that. Are you Tanner from
Warning.
the intro of
Wait,
Behind
are you in the
863?
intro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes, warning. The
Warning.
following content
Yeah. I
thought
contains
that was Matt.
spoilers.
No, it's Tanner.
Straight
Wow.
up, thought that was Matt.
For,
was
well,
me.
for
Wow.
the behind 863 series?
All of it.
No, well,
All of it.
Wait,
It can't be. So one is Matt
Dude,
for Project 863, and then I'm
this is
Behind
not
863.
subject one.
Yeah, for behind 863.
That's me.
I thought it was the same overlay.
That's me.
No, it's different.
Okay.
Do you watch the
I
video.
know.
No.
I'm shocked you even watched the Behind 863
I-
episode. I remember I checked in with Woods and I totally got it too, where I was like, I've been vlogging Woods at this point like once a week, probably like twice a week, I would say, for like 2 months. And Woods was like, what channel is this again? I was like, Woods, have you watched one of my videos? And he goes, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I haven't. He's like, I'm sure they're good though. And I was like, he's like, honestly, I just got a lot going on. And
Do
he
you guys
did.
ever just like
He did have a lot
see
going on,
yourself too much?
Yes.
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 Like I like get to the point like there.
though. You don't want to see yourself in content anymore. You're like, all right, I'm
I
kind of
don't like
you know?
that's. I don't know if we want to talk about that, but like I'm almost at the point where I'm like, I get it. Like I mean, I get it.
What?
You're tired of your character
I
as a human.
almost. The reason I only watch is for the story itself. But like, yeah, there's points in footage I'm just like, I need to stop watching like things where I'm in it because it's like, I don't know. It just like it affects me in ways I'm not.
I can
I'm
totally
unsure
get
of.
that. Yeah,
You know,
I totally get that.
It's almost like, and this isn't exactly spot on. Sorry to take it off topic.
No,
but,
this is a good thing to talk about. Good topic.
you might have heard this, but like I think like maybe I heard Johnny Depp say it. He like doesn't watch anything he's in. He'll like
I know
A
a
lot
lot
of
of
actors
I know
don't.
a lot of actors
Okay,
that
right.
don't like watching themselves.
and it's maybe it. I would say the motivation behind that is because it affects the way they perform
Sure.
elsewhere, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that's much. That's so much for me, but like I don't know. It's a mix of that and also like blacking out during shoots, not remembering what I'm saying.
It's also you're living it. Like that's
Yeah.
something actors say too. Is like one of the main actors of Lord of the Rings. He said he's never watched the movie,
Wow.
never watched any of the movies. He's like, why would I? And it's because, and everyone's like, what do you mean? He's like, no, I lived it. Like I loved it, and I love those moments, and I'm still friends with those people. He's like, but I would never watch the movies.
For
Like,
actors,
that's not for me.
it's quite
Interesting.
different, especially
Yeah,
on the
that's
role
interesting.
they're doing. Like, I definitely want to decipher, like, or I definitely want to differentiate.
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 It's a hard
yeah.
word.
It is. The aspect of like why actors do it and like why I do it, I don't understand completely why I'm like kind of off-putted by watching that, but I understand that like when you're embedded in a role, you can easily take up those attributes, right? If you were a depressed, skinny drug addict in a role for like months on end, there's a very
There's a lot of
real
bad things,
possibility
yeah.
that you will become that person,
Method
and it will
acting.
be it'll be difficult to get out of that. For me, it's different because I know it's you know it's definitely
It's
I'm
just you.
not
Well-
embedded, and it's not like the most dramatic thing, but it's something I didn't mean to bring it up and not have
Also,
an
it
answer.
No,
is
yeah,
you,
no, I
though,
agree.
you
Oh, so
know?
this is my take on it because I was watching our video yesterday last night and I was like, it just felt very meta for me. Like, and that's the first time I've really felt that way with our content. I don't know why, but I was just like, wow, I don't think I am meant to see myself interacting this way all the time with people. I feel like it makes you very hyper aware of the things you do in everyday life. Like you're very nitpicky with little things that I'm sure other people don't even notice, but like you're watching it and you like hear yourself saying things in the background or just like whatever it might be. Like you're hyper
Aren't you
aware
a
of those
3
things.
too? Are you an
I am a
Enneagram 3?
3.
That totally makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I feel
Because
like
I don't do that with myself as much.
Really?
Like I just like act like an idiot. I'm like,
oh no,
I'm stupid
I
up
totally
there.
do
And I
it.
love it,
Same
baby.
way.
Really? And so no, but I like totally get what you're saying where like you'll black out and like not really remember things that you say or do during the
Yeah.
shoots. And I watch it and I'm like, wow, I reacted that way. I don't even remember reacting that way.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember saying these things. And it's just like a very strange, like out of body experience. And I feel like it definitely takes a toll on the way that you see yourself because the everyday person doesn't see themselves from that point of view constantly, you know, like from an outsider point of view. And so it makes you like, yeah, just very hyper aware of yourself, I think.
Yeah, and it, you know, I mean, like when we were doing Wrecked or Battle Universe or you know even Dope or Nope, it's different. Like there's a different type of blackout, I guess. Maybe it's the same lines, but like there's a difference between like having fun with your friends, and then watching that later because
Yeah.
it's like you were just yourself
Yeah.
there,
Mm-hmm.
with an exception of like the lack of cussing and you know
Mm-hmm.
other things like that. But whereas you're like you're following a story here, it's like it's almost like what I don't know. I don't know.
No, because sorry, I just feel like sometimes I feel as though I would be more comfortable if I were given lines because then like, you know, someone's putting those words in my mouth and I'm not the one deciding
How
to
long
say
have
those
you been
things.
on? How long have you been on camera? Is this like the first thing you've done on camera, or have you done like acting? Have you done stuff like that?
I've done acting. I was in theater in high school and stuff.
Oh, so yeah, you do a lot of that
yeah,
stuff.
so like I'm familiar, but like not from the point of view where I can watch my stuff back consistent, like
Yeah.
very accessibly and
It'll
like
change. Yeah, I remember when
Yeah.
I first started Wrecked. Battle Universe is technically the first thing I've ever done on camera, but I was like never really like. I don't know. I didn't really watch a lot of Battle Universe even when I was in the videos. I was like, I'm not a super big like into Nerf kind of guy. I was like, just whatever. But Wrecked, I had to watch every video like multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like back then, I was like the beginning of Wrecked, I was performing. Like I would go out there.
I could tell when you blacked out during
I would
set.
black out and like I would literally go out there and just start like start going super like getting super intense just like to bring out my personality because like I gotta like because I was also with like Gunner who was like still love Gunner but he's not like the funniest kid ever and then so I was kind of like all right I gotta be extra funny and I was like way over the top. But it started like that, and I would watch back, like, dude, that is like insane. Like, I don't remember any of this. It's also like
Crazy.
totally like a performance, totally over the
Yeah.
top. And so it started as that, and then it wasn't until like
I'm sorry.
nice. It wasn't until
My
probably like
fans.
the end of the first section of Dope or Nope where I stopped like performing. Even through most of Dope or Nope, I was kind of just like up there like performing.
Bro,
how do I get a joke out? How do I crack a joke?
I was doing sound for Wrecked at the time, and I would just watch Gunner and Tanner, and then after like maybe a couple months of doing that, I would see where it would switch on for you, and it would usually just like when we started rolling, right? Like there was you dropped all your like inhibitions, like you dropped your insecurities, and like everything that spewed out of you was like comedy. I mean, I'll say like
not always
as,
good
as a
comedy.
friend, as a friend, like so a lot of the stuff I was on the floor about, like just laughing really hard. Some of the stuff I was like, this guy's not here. This guy is not present right now.
bro.
It's so funny.
Yeah, it was just like a quick like Tanner from doing analytics, thumbnails, and all this, just like
Yeah, full Fortnite kid out
It's
there.
very funny, like how easy it is to kind of like to use the term we've been using, like blackout. You can get because like I feel like I don't know that I can give you a list of 10 Battle Universe videos. Like I think I could probably get to like 5. Like but like I did probably over 200.
Wow,
like,
really?
And it's
That's a
just
lot.
yeah. I
It's
mean
almost
for
like an
like 2 years
amalgamation
straight.
of a bunch of videos in your head when you think back to that.
And like I have a lot of fun memories and there was a lot of like fun stuff that happened, but there is that kind of like disassociation when you're watching yourself in something, like even from like 2 weeks ago when you're like, I don't remember doing this, or like I just remember like blacking out and performing
Totally, yeah.
like for an hour.
It
And
helps
then
with video notes. Like whenever I'm giving notes though, it's like I really feel like I've never seen this episode. I don't remember
Yeah.
anything I'm saying. I'm just like I'm pretty objective towards it where I'm like, I don't have any like I'm just like, oh man, that guy's an idiot.
Yeah.
Dude. I gotta cut him out.
Isn't
That's
that
me. And I'm like,
Yeah, because I'll look at it and I'm like, yeah, Bailey from 2 weeks ago, that's a different person. I don't
Yeah.
know her anymore. Like,
really
kind of
just
why
you.
did you
Yeah.
say that?
that's me right now.
I mean, it is our job, but it's almost like if you're working at a grocery store, you're not going to remember every single grocery that you bagged or
No.
every shelf that you
Any of
stocked.
them, yeah.
Hopefully.
And I think it's kind of the same in regards of like when you're doing it a lot, it's just like a performer aspect, right? Like you just like black out. I don't know if
just
that's the most
perform.
responsible thing, but like again, I think maybe the best thing
Well-
for it is the flow of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, sometimes it is just like a performance and like that's not necessarily bad. Like sometimes like because you brought up an interesting point of like, oh, sometimes I wish like we did have scripts and like we did have like lines. Like I've thought about that sometimes because then it is like, oh yeah, I have to do a lot less mental work of like, well, how would I react in this situation?
Yeah.
And
What do I
like,
say next?
as far as like, if we fully just went the route of like, this is a scripted series, like, let's get this shot, make sure we love how we got it, move on to the next scene. Let's
Exactly.
get the
That's
shot.
fascinating. I'm the opposite. Anytime I've
Really?
ever been, because we used to do scripted BU, and then and I've done a bunch of sponsorships that
You
are
were
always
scripted?
scripted.
Well,
He was scripted for a minute.
Scripted in the sense of like when we did Dungeons and Dragons
Even past
episodes
that.
and like What else
You don't
was
remember
scripted?
that? They would literally script they would script all of the rules. They would script
Yeah, we would script. I remember the. I
So
remember the rules.
a lot
of
of the videos would be like legit, like the first quarter of the video would be scripted, talking about what's happening, showing like
Yeah.
over B-roll. And I remember like you'd have to
remember
like
that.
you'd have to just like know it. You were expected to like look at your stuff before you showed up. And I was just like, I remember hating that. I was like, because
Really?
I'm just not good at that. I'm more just like, just tell me what to talk about, and
Yeah.
I'll kind of just go.
I was kind of fine with it, but I didn't think it performed well in the videos. I thought in the videos it was so silly that the first quarter of the video was just talking from a script, like introducing what the game was instead of being like, this is what we're doing, and then getting into the game.
I think Project 863 and this section would totally work better with scripting if it was, but I think it kind of just like, I think it just works toward like the platform for it to not be like this.
Yeah,
It
totally.
does.
Which
for
you guys,
sure.
I know you guys, we've talked about. I know you guys
Yeah.
totally agree
Yeah.
with that too. But I get what you're saying. Like, it would just be a lot easier to know what's expected of you.
Well, and to not
Rather than-
critique yourself.
yeah, and to
Yeah.
like create a character.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I feel like a lot of the time too, I say something like I am interrupting someone, or like I say something in the background of something, and I'm like, oh no, they can't use that anymore because I just
Yeah.
said something in the back, or like
Whereas if you have a script, you know who's going to say what when. So
Right.
there's not necessarily like, I just ruined that.
exactly.
I find that like
Yeah.
whenever we do film, and especially now that like you guys are kind of out of the loop as well, I'm sure it's different for you. Maybe you could add to this metaphor, but I find that it's like when we started this, no script, just improv, following a plot. It's kind of like meeting up with family you haven't seen in a while, or maybe like meeting up with like friends you haven't seen, or maybe there's a dynamic that you're like hanging out with a group, and there's certain aspects of conversation you have to avoid, not to make it awkward, and then it's kind of familiar to that, because like when we're shooting, we're like, oh well, what if it's well, shoot, can I say that? You know,
Yeah.
like, or shoot, I just said that. Is it making it awkward? Like,
Yeah,
Yes,
like he's
am I
just
look-
giving it away
Yeah.
too much.
Then you like gotta look
like-
around. You gotta look at Matt's face. Did I just give that away?
Yeah.
And so it's like you're almost like what you're walking on, especially if you don't know what's going on, and especially if you're not familiar with the story. In my case, like I'm not always familiar with the story, and so I'm definitely like, oh, like I feel
not the
I feel kind of
Yes.
uncomfortable, but like I'm with it.
Yeah.
You know.
And like that's our perspective too, because there have been some moments where I felt like, okay, I'm kind of like, am I coming to this conclusion too quickly for this video?
I can think of like
Do I
very
need to,
specific
like, not?
instances where that happened for like both of us. Like when we were doing the overnight spray paint video, and Sam and I were like, it smells like spray paint. And then Matt was like, no, it doesn't. And we were like,
Yes, it does. No,
Yeah.
there's a very funny bit that like
Yeah, it does, man. You're wrong.
on camera. We only kept a little bit of it. We had to like cut it in frame because otherwise it was too obvious. But like it was just the back of my head, and like you could see Matt's face, and I was like, "See, it smells like spray paint in here." And he just looked at me and he was like, "No, it doesn't."
yeah.
And I was like,
Gaslights
and,
you?
and I literally I looked at him, and this is the part that I think was cut from the video. I went. Yeah. Like I was like, oh.
Yeah.
She's like,
No,
does
it
not?
doesn't.
No.
It doesn't smell like
It does
spray
not
paint in
smell like
here.
opposite of could have been.
could have been spray paint.
And I had
But
a very specific, or like a very similar situation where Woods like takes it off the wall, and he's like, it doesn't smell like spray paint. And then I'm like, what does it smell like? And then he like lets me smell it, and I'm like, I don't know what he wants me to say. So I was just like, I don't know.
I didn't know what you were going to be like. You decide.
Why does
I
it
was
sound
like,
like
"Ooh, this
D&D
is
checks? Like when you go in there you're doing a check and it's like
It's like, I don't know, roll
Bailey
for
rolled a
agility.
nat 1 and it's like it's just spray paint. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
What does it smell like?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know what he wants me to say, so I'm just going to say the most generic thing that
Holds
I
up
can.
apple, tastes apple. I don't know
I
what
don't
this
know
is.
what it is.
Rolled a nat 1.
Yeah, but I mean, then that's what I do think. Like though, as a whole, we are pretty good off of like reading each other in the moments and like being able to like not follow trails too hard that are obviously not the path we're
Leave
going
some room for the
down.
fans.
And like
Yeah.
Matt does a good job of like directing as we go, but like in the scene, like because there are some times where it's like I have an idea in my brain, but like Matt's like definitely not taking the bait character wise. And I'm like, okay, maybe that's not it. And maybe I should just drop it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like in the video that went out yesterday, when we walked into the room that Woods had set up, and Sam and I were like, "Has this room always been this way?" And then
they were
Matt-
like, yeah, we set up for GG.
yeah,
This is an
we were like,
impossible task
okay.
trying to do. Like,
Convince
you
people
guys
to know.
know.
Yeah. No, but you guys did a good job because we already told the story on the podcast, but like I like fully was like, these aren't the floors that we
Yeah.
replaced red base with, but maybe they are.
But then
Oh,
Matt was
yeah,
like,
no
"Well, we
way.
replaced one room and not this one."
yeah,
We were like,
I was like, sure.
You
Yeah.
guys
Just
are
trying
gonna
to
have
confuse the heck out of you, so you're like, okay,
I don't know
whatever.
what's real or
"Yeah,
not
that's
anymore.
what's real."
You guys are getting professionally gaslit like
Yeah,
every
we're
week.
just like,
It's like things are how they've been, and then people are just like, no, they're not. And then you guys are gonna go into your personal relationships and be like, are things how they are?
I think how they are.
They're like, yeah.
Can I sue for gaslighting?
Yeah, just
Or-
everyone in the company gaslighting these two individuals every
We're
week.
like, what is happening?
Literally the fun. Well, funny to us. I mean,
Yeah.
it'll probably stay funny, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting
Gaslighting
gaslit
you.
every week.
Oh.
Well, because also
I thought you were about to tell a story, and I was like, what happened?
I mean, they have to. It's their job.
Their job is to just
Job
get
to be
gaslit.
gaslit.
Yeah.
quite
A
fascinating.
portion of your job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other portion is not to be spoken about on this episode.
Responsibility. Wait, what? What?
I mean, it sounded way darker than
I know.
this.
I was like, what else do we do?
Just behind the scenes stuff, break story. We don't want to do that.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
wanna do that.
Yeah. So we're gonna wrap up on that note. We have to go shoot Dope or Nope as well. We got some stuff to figure out for tomorrow's shoots and stuff. But I did want to bring up this comment really quickly. It's not a huge discussion.
Discussion.
I like that.
Discussion.
This podcast is brought to you by Gushers.
Discussion.
bullies. So this is what maple sugar bush. I almost said sugar
This
brush.
is another ad.
No.
What do we?
Sugar bush.
Maple sugar bush.
This comment is brought to you by Maple Sugar Bush.
I kind of like that.
Leave me alone, all right? So, unfortunately, so this is kind of like we got hit by like a Karen that's like hitting us with technicalities. So I just wanted to bring it up. Not like a
Is
bad
this
thing.
about the chalk?
Yeah.
What?
Oh,
Shot?
yeah.
This one.
So
Read it.
unfortunately, the ending hinges on a commonly misunderstood trope.
Wrong. Sorry.
Yes.
Chalk outlines were not used to show where a dead body finally fell, but to indicate where the bodies of victims who were still living lay, but had to be moved, as in to the hospital so they could continue living.
Really?
That's probably
they
true,
used
but
it for
NCIS
also-
doesn't do that. You know?
That's
They
just
used
one of
it
the,
for all sorts of things.
They say a lot more, and they kind of like clarify. They obviously aren't meaning any bad harm, but
No, of course.
it's one of those things like we obviously like. Yeah, but we have to like play into the movie trope because it's a trope for a reason.
I disagree. I think that.
Yeah, tell us prop department. What's up?
yeah.
Yeah, Woods has watched a lot of
Well, I did
episodes of
research
Cops,
on this.
so
No, I mean they would mark the body, but they would mark the body for multiple reasons. They wouldn't just. I mean,
It wouldn't be
whatever
just that reason.
Yeah, whatever they
Maple
stated
sugar
right
bush,
there.
if you could
whatever
if you
maple
could
sugar
talk to her
bush stated right. Thank you for putting that fact out. But there are also other uses. So
Well, I also have to say,
don't try to break my story.
yeah, get it.
try to
Woods.
crack this case.
We also can't put a dead body in a video, so there's the other thing.
We could.
Could we?
No.
We get to
What
no.
about part of one?
gonna
Ew,
get-
no.
The gaslighting's gonna get so strong. There's gonna be a dead body on set. That's not a dead body.
Ew, what are you,
You guys
talking
are like-
about?
They haven't lied to us yet. Woods, no
Bailey
one's
and I
ever
just,
lied to me.
break down and start crying, and they're like, "Don't worry about it. There's nothing there."
Yeah, those are the tears we're farming. We're farming those Bailey tears.
I'm used to this gaslighting. I'm sorry. I know the podcast is ending, but I would just like to remind everyone of the cat prank from Dope or Nope. I've been gaslit for years here. Thank you. Good
Poor
night.
Sam, the cat prank.
That was pretty traumatic for you.
It was horrible. Thank you so much for watching this podcast.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. Check out the other ones. If you guys have anything you want us to see or hear, do it on Spellbound. Do it on behind863.reddit.com/yourmomshouse. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.